All right, so today I'm going to be talking about what is a superstar in the NBA. There's been a lot of talks lately about Damian Lillard on whether he's a superstar or is he just a regular star. So I wanted to talk about that. Um, Damian clearly is a star, and anybody who can make the All-Star team or like All NBA team, I would consider them a star. And on top of that, like players like CJ McCollum, amongst that level, like I would consider stars. But in order to make a leap from star to a superstar, I think they have to perform well in the playoffs. And not just in the first round, but in the second round and conference finals and finals. And and I also look at what they do when everything is on the line, like elimination game, closeout games, and things like that. If they can perform under pressure, they are a superstar. So I'm just gonna talk about last year's playoffs as an example, and bring up some players from last year. So Kawhi Leonard is clearly a superstar in the league. Uh, so I'm gonna take a look at him first. So let's look at Kawhi's regular season last year. He averaged 26.6 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. Um, on 49.6% from the field. And then let's look at the playoffs. Um, so in the playoffs, oh man, I don't think this is a good website. I'm gonna go to NBA.com. I think NBA.com just has um, better way a comparison. All right, so Kawhi Leonard, per game regular season playoffs. All right, so again, last year 26.6 points on 49% shooting. 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Those are pretty much like the main stats I can look at, right? And then let's go to the playoffs. 30.5 points, on 49% shooting, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. As you can tell, this is clearly a boost from his regular season stats. He performs way better in the playoffs. Um, to go further into it, let's look at some of the games he played last year. So if we go to where's his game logs in here? I think I go back to Basketball Reference for this. So back to this website for game logs. This website has really good game logs, but I think the other site has better stats. So let's take a look at his playoff performances from last year on wins. 25 points, and then he started playing really well. I don't know what happened here. Like he has like some bad games here and there, like 19-point game. That was not that good. Uh, but mostly like he has some of these like really good games, like 45 points against Philadelphia to open the series. That basically made the statement that we're better than them. Um, and and then Kawhi Leonard, Game 5. When the series was tied, oh no, it was no, they were losing one too, and then Kawhi pulls up this game, 39 points on 65% shooting, and I'm pretty sure this is the game where he had a three with a minute left to basically close the deal of this game. And we know what happened in this game. I'm pretty sure like anybody who watches basketball knows Game 7, Philadelphia, Kawhi's game winner, 4 bounces. Everybody knows that one. That was really clutch. Basically cemented him as like one of the great players in the league. Um, Again, like these are really great games for the most part. Like he's dropping 30 on average, it seems like, as you can tell, 30, 40, 30, 30, 30. There's a lot of 30 plus point games here. He performs better. Or like let's just look at his final stats. His field goal percentage is not as great, which kind of makes sense, like when once you get to the finals, teams usually play the best defense, like or the best defensive teams usually make the finals anyway, so like it kind of makes sense. But then he's still averaging 28.5 points and 10 rebounds, 4 assists. This is better than regular season. Um, so if you can perform like this would be an example of what a superstar looks like on a playoff. Or another player I'm gonna look at is Steph Curry. I believe he's like one of the more underrated players. I don't know why he's so underrated. But people always say, "Oh, he got championships because KD. Oh, they're like the already a great team. It could have been any point guard." No, I do not think that way. The Warriors were successful because of this guy, not this guy was successful because of the team. I think it's the other way. Like if they don't have Steph, Warriors couldn't exist. All right, so let's look at his things. Or I should look at I should probably look at his s- just like overall stats first from last year. So regular season from last year, 2018-2019, 27 points on 47%, 5 rebounds and 5 assists. That's his regular season stat. And once we go into the playoffs last year, 28 points on 44%, 6 rebounds and 6 assists. You can't really tell that like his stats went up that much. Like it doesn't seem that much better, right? Like compared to Kawhi's jump. But let's dig into his games. Part of his stats not going up is because the Warriors are so good. Like they don't really need him to perform as good. Um, for them to win, which is kind of like I guess his argument against him, but at the same time he performs whenever it matters. It seems like. Um, so the Clipper series, he was pretty bad actually to his standard, 24.7 points. I wouldn't say it's bad, but like it's not good. Like he had a 12-point game which they won somehow. I'm pretty sure this is the game KD had 50 points. Oh no, Clay and KD combined for 30 or 65. See, like this is kind of why like Warriors were so good. Like they don't need the stars to perform well in order for them to win. They had too many supers, or they had two superstars on the team basically, Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. But let's look at the games since KD got injured. I think he got injured game 3, or was it game 3 or game 4? Okay, game 3 he played the whole game. Game 4, um, okay, game 4 he played the whole game. Was it game 5 and game 6 that he missed? Which games did he miss? I'm trying to see. Um, okay, so looks like this is the game he got injured in. Um, since that injury happened, they don't have as much cushion, for Steph to be just like having these dud games like 17 point, 12 point, and they're still winning. Okay, they lost this game, but like 18 point, they're winning. He scored 20 points. There's on 6 of 16, and they're still winning. Uh, that's not gonna happen if KD's out. And this is a game. Wow, this was a game that pretty much says Steph is still Steph. Game 6. I remember this claim clearly. So let's look at this one to see what I mean by players performing at a pressure situation. Game 6 in Houston without KD. Warriors are ahead 3-2, right? That's the situation. Um, if Houston wins this game, with Chris Paul and James Harden still playing, they were relatively healthy. Look at the stats, like 35 points, 27 points. They're pretty damn good. Um, so if they win this game, I think they probably put win against the Warriors in Game 7 as well, because Warriors have no KD. But so like first half, man, Steph goes 0 for 5, 0 for 2. He basically didn't do anything in this first half. Everything is 0. Klay Thompson kept the game in check, which I think they were still winning after first half. No, they were tied after first half, it looks like. But yeah, the game was close because, kind of because like Steph went 0 for 5 and things like that. Uh, but James Harden also struggling at 5 for 15. Uh, so yeah, um, people were like, "Oh, is Steph Curry carried by KD? Is he choker?" And then the second half, he answers with the 33 points. This all happened in second half. 33 points, 9 of 15 shooting, 11 of 11 from the free throw line. He barely made any mistakes in this second half, and he carried them. And let's look at what Chris Paul and James Harden did in the second half. So basically, okay, so James Harden and Chris Paul, 16 points, 16 points. Steph had 33 points. He had more points in the second half than James Harden and Chris Paul combined. Like, this is insane. Like, these are the type of performance you would expect from a superstar in pressure type situations against a really good team. Fourth quarter, 23 points, Um, wow. Yeah. This was just he almost outscored Houston by himself in the fourth quarter on a closeout game. Like, like how does that happen, 20 Houston scored 26 points in the fourth quarter. Steph scored 23 points in the fourth quarter. Like this is what a superstar is, basically. That's what they do. And let's go to the finals now, just to give him a little more. All these games, he's performing really well. He doesn't have any of those like sub 20 point game. Um, he struggled some of them. I'm pretty sure he was tired, but there's no excuse. He's not the best player in the league. That's probably what that means. Kawhi was just a better player than Steph in this series. Um, but he's still averaging 30, 35 and 6. Uh, he's not choking. They just went against the better team without KD. And 47 points. He has some really good games they lost. They lost by 14 when he scored 47 points. Um, but yeah, that's kind of my point. Like superstars perform really well under like sort pressure type situations. So there we go. That's pretty much what superstars are. But and let's look at some of the examples of other players that are like borderline superstar, like Damian Lillard. People want to argue that he's a superstar, but honestly, for me, he's not really a superstar. I put him barely in top 10 in the league, but I don't think he's a superstar. So let's go to Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard. All right. So Damian Lillard, 2018-2019 in playoffs. Last year was the playoff that like most people think like that pushed him past the stardom and made him into a superstar. But I highly disagree. Um, so last year, let's look at the stats. 26 points on 44% shooting, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, pretty much, right? Playoffs, 27 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, on 42% shooting. Uh, I wouldn't necessarily say this is better than regular season, but his points went up a little bit, right? Percentage went down. It's kind of a wash. I think it's you could debate for either which one is better. But let's look at his games. This is the one that matters the most. Um, Playoffs. OKC. He played really well against OKC. That was the series basically people are talking about when they argue for him. 33 points. Um, 6 assists, 4.4 rebounds on 46% shooting. If he can perform like this for the rest, like for like in the second round or conference finals and like things like that, he is a superstar by any definition. Like there's no debate about that. But this is the first round. And this is against OKC that lost to the Jazz the year before in the first round when they were third seed. They lost to a 6 seed Jazz that was led by a rookie, Donovan Mitchell, and they lost. And I didn't expect much from them in the playoffs, and that's exactly what happened. I don't consider this that big of a deal, to be honest, like performing well against this team, because OKC was not really that of a good or that good of a team. Let's look at his games after that, what his averages are. And this is my concern. 24 points on 39% shooting, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. His points went down a little bit. His percentages are really bad. 31% from 3, that's really bad. On top of that, let's look at the games itself. He scored 39 points. This is the one game he had really I was really good against the Nuggets, and this one. This one they lost. So this one doesn't really count to me. They need to win for me or like I guess they no. I should probably count the losses as well. This one pretty good. But then the games they won are I think I'm putting more emphasis on the games they won than the games they lose because, at the end of the day you play to win, not to have good stats. Um so let's look at the 4 games they won. 5 of 17, 14 points, not good. How did they win this game? Because the CJ performed insane. Actually, not this game. I don't know. Wow. Oh no, this game is just a defensive game. It seems like don't remember this game as much. Okay, they won because Nuggets struggled more than the Trailblazers. Uh, but yeah, at the same time, CJ scored 20 points. That's pretty much what pushed them. If they yeah, Dame had 14 points and they still won. Um, let's look at the other wins they have. This, oh man, this is the triple overtime game. This is a game I watched. Oh no, quadruple overtime. Sorry. Um, my memory is not as good as I thought, but this is the game that CJ carried pretty much. I think CJ pretty much carried them. Let's look at second half stats. CJ had 14 points. In the fourth quarter, CJ had 10 points. Dame had 2 points, so 1 for 3. Overtime, CJ. Wait, literally CJ. First overtime, every point they scored is a CJ. Dame went 0 for 3 with nothing. No rebounds, no assists, 1 steal. He basically didn't do anything in that overtime. Second overtime, 5 points. He improved a little bit, it seems like. The third overtime, another CJ. 7 point. Dame had 4 points. It's not that good, honestly. He's a 3 point shooter, so he needs to knock some threes down or have some more points or go to the free throw line or something. 4 points is not that great against when they scored 11 points and also 0 assists. If he had like 3 assists, I would be like, man, that's good. But he had nothing other than 4 points. That's not good. Fourth overtime, another zeros by a bunch of these guys. and Rodney Hood pretty much closed the deal somehow, and that's how the game ended. So we can kind of tell like Dame didn't do anything in the fourth quarter in the overtime. 28 points, 10 of 24 shooting on a 57-minute game. It's almost like a they almost play like two games. He played 60 games. That would have been actually like 30 minute per game, you know, or if he played two games. But yeah, my point is that he didn't perform that good in this game, especially in pressure situations. Um, all right, let's go to some more games. 28 points on a loss, 4 point loss. So this was a blowout. And game six, elimination game for the Nuggets. Looks like he did perform well in this game. Um, but again, CJ performed better than Dame. It's not Dame that carried them. Like, you know, like kind of like Steph carried the Warriors past the Rockets on the closeout game. It's not Dame. It's CJ. CJ was really good in this game as well. Let's go to fourth quarter, you know. This game was pretty close in the fourth until the fourth quarter. Late in the game, I'm pretty sure if I remember right. Well, I guess I can kind of look at it. Fourth quarter. Um, yeah, Nuggets were closing in for sure. Like they cut the lead to 9 with 43 seconds. They had to keep playing well to win. So let's go to fourth quarter. Just go straight to the fourth quarter. Uh, Damian Lillard, 1 for 3, 4 fouls. Wait, did I see that right? Yeah, that's fouls. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. My God, he had 4 fouls in this. That means the Nuggets had free throws because of Damon. Like they were probably over limit. Like there's no way Dame had four first fouls in this quarter. Like he basically hurt the team by putting Nuggets on the line. And CJ with 11 points in this quarter pretty much carried them at the end. So I would say like three of the four wins, no, all of the wins they had against the Nuggets, CJ was the better player than Dame. You know, we can't say the same about Steph against Rockets when KD went out. That one game they played. Like even that one game, like CJ doesn't or Dame doesn't have any game where he played better than CJ in any of the wins, which means CJ was the MVP for the series, obviously. That doesn't look good to me on a superstar or like if you want to rank him as a superstar, to be honest. And this is the series that like really like made me like question if he deserves to be even the conversation. 22 points on 37%, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, and they got swept. Golden State had no Steph. He has 19 points in this game, 19 points in another one. And let's just go to game 4. Closeout game, right? For Warriors. This is as much pressure as it gets on a closeout game against in the conference finals. Um, okay. Uh, okay, this he didn't play that bad, it seems like. Actually, I don't. Okay, let's look at the first half and the second half comparison. First half he played really well, but my God, Myers Leonard was on fire in this game. 25 points. So people who say like Warriors had like Steph had more help and they didn't have any help and that's why they got swept even without KD. That makes no sense to me. This is way more help than anybody can ask for from a role player. 25 points in the first half, 10 of 12 shooting. On top of that, all the stars are playing well in this game, right? Steph, let's look at it. Warriors are playing fairly well as well. They're not playing. They're not that bad. They're losing though. They're losing by 2 points. No, five. No, they're losing by 4 points at first half. Uh, Steph performed well in the first half, 25 points. Look at the second half. Um, let's see. Dame 6 of 15. Uh, turnover 14 points. That's not that great. Steph didn't play great either, honestly. But at least he played well in the first half, right? Like, at least he performed really good in the first half, which kind of like averages out this. But yeah, either way, like Steph didn't perform that well either. It seems like overtime. Uh, None of them played that well. It seems like they were just tired at that point. But my point is that Dame didn't do anything in this game where they had to win. Let's go to game three, the one that matters even more. I think if they, yeah, this is the game they pretty much got closed down. You know, if you're down 0-3, you're pretty much done. 19 points, 5 of 18 shooting. That's not clutch at all. Like that's just choking. And five turnovers on top of that. When Steph is shooting 36 points. Um, if you remember, like from looking at the Steph stats compared to like Dame stats in this conference final series, Steph, Steph almost well, or actually, let's just look at that. Just compare it real quick. Compared to Steph didn't play particularly that well either, but he he's still playing way better than he's playing well enough, I should say. Like, let's see. So 37 points, 36.5 points on 47% shooting, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, right? 3.5 turnovers. Dame, 22 points, 37%, 4.5 turnovers, right? It doesn't even compare who's a better player or like um this is yeah, if you have these type of games in biggest stages of the game, or even like the second round, like you can't say he performed well if you're not the best player in the team, right? Superstars have to be the best players on the team, I think, unless you have two superstars, I guess. That's another thing. If you can have more than one superstar on the team, but no one is gonna argue that CJ is a superstar. He's not a superstar, and he still got outperformed by his teammate in a second round, which matters even way more than the first round. So yeah, I wouldn't consider this a superstar. Another example is James Harden. James Harden. Let's just go to James Harden. I think he's just a better version of Damian Lillard. He plays really well in the regular season, but he gets worse as the playoff goes on. Let's see. Okay, actually, last year he did not choke, which kind of is a surprise to me. But yeah, this is what you would expect from a superstar against a really good team for them to perform this well. Like we saw how bad Dame was in the Warrior series. He wasn't particularly good against Denver either. He didn't carry them. Uh, so other than the first round performances, no, like he doesn't have anything for his argument to say that he's a superstar. That's why I don't consider him a superstar. I think James Harden is a superstar. I thought he performed. Uh, I thought he choked last year too, because he choked so much in the playoffs every year. But seems like he kind of redeemed last year, even though they lost. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not sure if I explained anything right, but mm, or if everything I said made sense. But it's kind of why that's kind of what I define superstars as. Players who perform really well in the playoffs, especially deep into the playoffs. And Dame hasn't shown me that he performs well in the deep into the playoffs, like players like Steph, James Harden, or like even like James Harden. Yeah, he played well against Golden State, at least on a losing effort. Um, at least he put up a fight, right? Dame didn't put up any fight. Uh, he got swept. Um, he got swept and he performed bad. Like he averaged, way less points or way less or not way less. I would just say he played way worse than like what his regular standards are. Uh, and the reason why I'm putting so much emphasis on playoffs compared to regular season when it comes to superstar is because playoff games are so much tougher than the regular season. They play better teams, obviously, right? None of the teams that make the playoffs are bad. They're not bad, or not all of them are great, obviously, but none of them are bad teams. Like the oh man, I don't want to say the Suns anymore because they were so good, but Suns before the bubble happened, like throughout the years, like Kings, for example, like the Hawks, they're bad. None of the playoff teams are that bad, but they're not all of them are good either. That's why I don't put that much emphasis on first round. Um, but like moving on from the first round is when the competition gets really high, and if players can perform well in those games, even when they lose, I would consider them superstars. That's the bottom line. All right, that's it. Um, yeah, thank you for whoever that's watching, and I'm not sure what the next video is gonna be, but I'm hoping to do something other than basketball. So yeah, yep, that's it for my daily take. Thank you.